Hi there and welcome to this video is going to take a look at using Google Docs within Glow, some of the other options we have, including adding images, text boxes and drawings to Google Docs, and the example of using these might be to create a worksheet for your learners. So what I'll show you in this video is how to create a simple worksheet just like this, and this could be shared online through Google Classroom. That's my spell check there. What I'm going to do is we're going to add another question, and I'll just show you how I've done that and created it with the wee text boxes here for my learners. And again, there's nothing to say that the learners have to type in the box, for example, but I always think it's useful if you're creating content like this for your learners that you're identifying where you want them to write the answer, because if you share this worksheet they will be able to edit the questions. You can't lock that, but I think by giving them a space that you clearly want them to answer, it makes it a wee bit easier for them. So if I did my next question here, and if I highlight that text and I want to add it to the bulleted numbered list, as number 1 appears at the top of the screen, I can go to Format, Bullets and Numbering, and I can choose either bulleted or a numbered list. There may be some other options there not available to me at the moment, but numbered list have got different formats about the way that it represents the number, and then the sub numbers or points below, whether the A, B or I, you can see at the different levels of indentation there are 1.1, 1.2, so different formats and options available to you. If I select that, you can see that it's numbering itself as number 1 also. Now another option I've got to access this is the numbered list button up here on the toolbar, but again it's seeing it's a new line that I've selected, so it's wanting to start number 1 again. Probably the best way, the most effective way to do this if you're doing it from the start, would be just to create your questions. Create all your questions on the page, highlight them all at the same time and number them from there. Then you can go back and add in your spacing. If you add in 2 spaces, you see the first one numbers the space and the second one removes that number and takes you onto a new line. Then what I've done here, and this is just down to my preference, but I think it's useful for learners, is to insert that text box. So if I go up to Insert, and I'm going to use Table, and again I can create a table with different grid options there, but what I want here is just one box for my learner to type in, and I could even help them out by telling them that I want the answer to go in here. I'm going to italicise that and just make it different colour so that they know it's a temporary bit of text there and that they can delete that. Again, up to you. You might then want to add a double line between the text box and the next question. So that's one way you can do that. You can then insert over and over, but what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to copy that box, I'm going to highlight it, press Ctrl and C on my keyboard, and I'm just going to paste some more boxes in, so that my learner can come to this worksheet and see it quite clearly laid out. They know where to write their answer. You could even again use the box to suggest the sort of answer that you want here. So I want a longer answer or I want a shorter answer there. So really useful, and again with copy and paste, just by highlighting that, pressing Ctrl and C on my keyboard, and I can add in a number of questions and then go in and fix that formatting as we spoke about. So I've got my questions here, and I've used insert to put in a table. I could also use that to insert an image, so again if it's to perhaps hook the learner at the start, or you've got an image that you want to ask them questions about, you can use insert image, and you can either add one that you have on your computer from your Google Drive. if you have a link to it already. And if you're using a mobile device or a laptop with a camera, you can even use your camera to grab something that's in front of you and put that into the document. For this though, I'm going to use the fact that it's connected to the web, and I'm going to search the web here. So we're talking about the Romans, and I can pick any picture I like here and insert that into my document. Obviously you need to take care and see where the images are coming from and if they're copyright free. So I can add an image, and it may be that the image wants to relate to each of the questions as well. So you can do that, you can add an image and ask a question about it. However, one of the tools that I think is really useful here is that I can add what is called a Google drawing, and that's what I've used for this section here. So I can create an image and I can add these text boxes that I want my learner to answer on. So when a learner comes to this activity, they open up, they click on the image here, and they can edit it. So they can label this and say that that's the helmet and that's the shield. That's the information I'm looking for. So I can create an interactive labelling activity similar to what I would do in the classroom. What I like about this is one image, so if I move this about the screen, it all stays together. It's not, I don't have to draw it and then make sure it's grouped. Drawing does that automatically. So what I'll do is I'll take a new line here. I'm going to go to Insert, Drawing, and I can use one that I've used already, or I can insert a new one. So I've got some different menus up here. I can undo, redo, I can magnify. What I want to get started with though is an image. And again, if I've got one on my computer, I've got one on my Google Drive, or I can just search for it. So I'm going to search again for Roman soldier. Here's an image here. So I could insert a text box, but you see it's transparent. So what I'm going to start with, in fact, is a shape. I'm going to pick a rectangle. I'm going to add my rectangle here. And then using the line tool, I am going to attach it just on the edge of the box here. Pull that across to the helmet. And again, you can play with whether it's got an arrow on the end of it, different styles of line there. And again, you can change the colour of the line. So if you had a black image, you might want to add a red line there, and again the weight of it, so you can make it a thicker or thinner line as required, in the style of it, whether it's a dotted or a solid line. I've also got the option to use the scribble tool in line, and that will allow me to draw freehand or to write. A shape has automatically got a text box built into it, so that will allow, if my learner types on it, they can write their answer into that box. I don't have to now add a text box, and again you can change the colour of the fill in the box, so whatever suits your page or your learner. So again, you might want to make it not white to distinguish it from the background, but again thinking of a colour that the text is going to contrast against. So I think that's a really useful tool built in to Google Docs to let you create not just loading an image, but an image that you could then label or annotate. So you can insert an image, a table, the drawing. We've spoken about those three, and there's also the option to insert a chart, but it's going to pull a chart from Sheets. So that's something we'll cover on the Sheets learning path. So if you want to know more about that, we'll look at creating tables on Sheets, which is Google's spreadsheet package, and then once you've created that chart on Sheets, you'll be able to insert it. Thanks for watching.